Exercise challenges your heart, lungs, muscles, as well as your balance, so it's important to take key precautions when exercising at home. Below are some tips on how to reduce falls risk while exercising at home. Exercise during the day when you are not tired in a well-lit area. Ensure that the floor is clear of obstacles and hazards such as cords, shoes, and small rugs. Wear proper footwear such as exercise shoes with rubber soles. However, make sure the shoes don't catch on anything while you are exercising that could make you stumble. When you're completing the balance exercises, complete the exercises next to a wall or sturdy object, such as a heavy chair or a countertop, so that you have somewhere to grab onto if you feel like you're starting to lose balance. When following exercise videos, watch the video to get a sense of what you need to do and then perform the exercise. If you need clarification, stop exercising before you review the video. This will also ensure that you put in your maximum effort when performing the exercises and in turn reap maximum benefits. If you have any questions, please call your exercise instructor.
Hi everyone, my name is Connor. I'm going to be your instructor for this protocol. This is going to be protocol number 5. For this protocol, you want to make sure you have a chair, and that's all you need for this protocol, so why don't we get started? So we're going to start with our warm-up, and at the start, let's do some marching. So we're going to start with some wide marching and raising our arms up and down as we're marching. Now, I'm going at a relatively fast pace. You don't have to keep up with me, go at your own pace. But if you like the pace I'm going at, that's fine. You can stay along with me. So after doing our wide marching, we're going to bring the feet together. And we're going to keep marching for around 30 seconds. All right. So keep swinging those arms. And let's go wide now. Now we're going to try to get our heartbeat a little elevated, breathing a little faster so we can get a solid warm-up and all can be ready for our exercise. And let's bring our feet together, keep on marching. Feet together, keep swinging those arms. Wide again. When you're marching, you want your feet, when you're wide marching I should say, you want your feet a little wider than hip width apart. And just keep swinging those arms. And feet together. And let's do some high knees. Bring those knees up nice and high. Keep swinging those arms. And again. I'm going at a pretty fast pace. You don't have to go at my pace, just whatever works for you. But if you like, just keep going and stay along with me as we're going to bring those feet low. Still swing the arms. And let's bring those knees up high again. Bring the knees, feet down. I'll do that one more time. Bring the knees up high. I'm trying to bring my knees to about parallel with my waist. You don't have to go that high, but if you can, if you're comfortable with that, go right ahead. And we're going to go low. And we're going to go into our heel taps. So we're going to bring the heels forward, and we're going to bring both arms up into our bicep curls as we're just tapping those heels forward as we're going through. Now, you also have the option of alternating the arms as you're doing the heel tap exercise. And we're going through. Next up, we're going to bring our arms up into a W shape. Try and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And bring the hands and elbows together, touching, and then going wide. Still doing our heel taps forward. This is around the pace you should be going when you're moving those arms out to the side together. Do that. A few more seconds. That should be good. And we're going to go into our taps back. So I'm going to be tapping my toe, just to give you a view from the side. So I'm tapping my toe back, and I'm going to start throwing my arms back, flicking my fingers like I'm trying to splash water off of them. And I'm going to do that for around 30 seconds or so. Good. Once I've completed that, I'm going to start with my taps to the side. So I'm going to be tapping with my toe, just tapping to the side, and I'm going to bring my arms up in front, both arms, into the side. Again, I'm going to do this for around 30 seconds. Good. Next up, I'm going to keep tapping my toes to the side, but I'm going to bring my arms up to an L shape. So one arm in front, one arm to the side. Once again, I'm going to do that for around 30 seconds. And that should be good. So that completes kind of the movement portion of our warm-up. We're going to go into our stretches. So we're going to start with our hamstring stretch. We're going to have the front leg straight, back leg knee bent. And I'm going to be bringing my hips back as I'm going to that stretch. Just going to be from the side, bring the hips back. Now, if you like, you can hold on the chair, just give you some extra balance. I recommend it. So that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to come tall, you come back down. You should feel a nice stretch in the back of the leg. Specifically, we're aiming for behind the thighs, right here. And we're going to do that 8 times. Coming tall, back down, bring the hips back. Coming out tall, back, tall, and back down. And we're going to switch our feet. So I'm going to have my left leg now. It's going to be in front. That's the one I'm going to be stretching. My right leg, the knee's going to be slightly bent. I'm going to bring the hips back. Nice stretch in the back of the leg. I'm going to come out tall, back down, out tall, back down, tall, back down, up tall. Again, we're going to do that for 8 times. 6, 7, and 8. Next up, we're going to go into our calf stretch. So for the calf stretch, the front leg, the knee's going to be bent, and the back leg straight. So I'm going to start with my left leg in front. I'm going to try to keep my knee over my ankle, And I'm gonna try to have the feet so that they're pointed forward. And then I'm gonna bring the feet together, and I'm gonna go back in that stretch, front leg knee bent, back leg straight, and we're gonna do that 8 times again. So this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. You wanna have this at a nice easy pace. Don't try to rush it. Make sure you're getting a bit of a stretch before bringing that back leg forward. This is 7, that's 8, and we're gonna switch our feet. So next up, I'm gonna my right leg in front. I'm gonna bring my left leg back, and go into the stretch. In this case, I should feel a nice stretch in the back of my calves. So right here is where I'm aiming to have a big stretch. You wanna try to keep up your upper body nice and tall. Try not to lean forward too much. This is 5, as you're doing a stretch. This is 6. This is 7. And 8. That completes our static, some of our dynamic stretches. We're going to our hips, circles. We're gonna do about 10 circles with the hips, trying to bring our hips nice and wide, and then we're gonna reverse direction. Reverse the direction. Kind of a little bend in the knees, but not so much. Keep the legs relatively straight. Focusing on making nice wide circles with the hips. That's 10. We're going to finish up with some shoulder circles, again around 10 times. Backwards and forwards. And that completes our warm-up for this session. So for this exercise, we're going to be doing our seated leg abduction exercise. So things to focus on are trying to keep the core tight, so trying to bring that belly button to the back of the spine, remembering to have our shoulders back and down and be sitting in nice and tall. You can imagine like there's a string pulling you up to the ceiling, keeping you straight. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be lifting our knee, and we're going to be bringing it to the side, placing it down, touching it lightly on the floor, and bringing it back to center. Now, things to keep aware of when you're doing this exercise is just bring it as your hip up as high as you feel comfortable, and then bring it out as far as you feel comfortable, and then back in. You don't have to go as far as I am, just whichever works right for you. When you're doing the exercise, also remember that we're trying to have all the movement at the hip. So that's going to be what's doing all the movement for this mobility exercise. Okay, with that being said, let's get started. So we're going to bring our knee up, we're going to bring it to the side, we're going to place it down, bring it back to center, and that's 1. And we're going to do that 8 times. So this is 2, back to center, and 3. I'm still trying to keep good posture, staying seated nice and tall. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. 2 more. This is 7. Remember to go nice and slow and controlled. Trying not to turn. All the movement is at that hip. And that's 8. Once you've completed 8 on one leg, we're going to go to the other leg and do 8 more. Just 1, and 2, and like with all our exercises, always try to focus on your breathing. So make sure you're taking a deep breath in and breathing out. Still nice and slow. This is 6. And 7. And last one for this set. That's 8. And once you've completed your 8 reps on each side, for your first set, we're going to go into our active recovery. So we're going to be marching. We're going to be marching for approximately 30 seconds. So take some nice deep breaths in as you're marching. A few more seconds. And that should be good. Once you've completed your 30 seconds, we're going to do another set on each side. So we're going to lift up our leg, bring it over to the side, place it down nice and light, bring it back to center. That's 1. Remember to go nice and slow, slow and controlled. That's 3. This is 4. 5. This is 6. And 7. 1 more. That's 8. Back to center. And we're going to switch legs. We're going to do 8 more with the other leg. This is 1. And this is 2. Just as a reminder, for these exercises, if you do feel any discomfort, you can reduce the amount that you're either lifting the leg or moving out to the side, just whichever works best for you. This is 5. This is 6. A couple more. This is 7. And last one, this is 8. And that completes our seated leg abduction exercise for this protocol. So the next exercise we're going to be performing is our standing toe raises exercise. For this exercise, I want you to be holding onto the chair with both hands throughout the exercise. You want your feet to be approximately hip-width apart. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be raising our toes up. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is I have a little bend in my knees as I'm doing the exercise. So, standing nice and tall, keeping the core tight and engaged, holding on with both hands, knees bent, and bringing my toes up. And back down. And bring them up. And back down. So it's not a lot of movement happening to toes. Just bring them up as high as you feel comfortable and you don't feel a strain. This is 5. This is 6. And we're going to be doing 10 reps. So this is 7. We have 3 more. 8. This is 9. And 1 more. 10. Okay, after you've done 10, we're going to do 30 seconds of marching. Just a nice, easy march for 30 seconds for our active recovery. For our active recovery, remember to be breathing. Take some deep breaths in. Breathing out. Nice and easy. As we're doing our active recovery. A little more. And that should be good. Once you've completed your 30-second marching, we're going to back the chair. We're going to be about a foot away from the chair, holding off both hands, a little bend at the knee, core tight, bring the feet up, and down. Feet up, and down. And feet up, and down. When you're doing the exercise, try not to let yourself rock. That's where keeping the core tight, bring the belly button back to the spine, can help this exercise. So we're still up tall, not letting our hips move back. All the movement should be at the ankle. This is 8, this is 9, and last one, and that's 10. So that completes our standing toe raises exercise. Good work, everyone. So for this next exercise, we're going to be doing our swinging triceps extension exercise. For this exercise, we want to be seated slightly forward in our chair, approximately in the middle of the chair. You want to have the core tight, bring the belly button to the back of the spine. We're going to be sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. And we're going to be bringing our arms out into a T shape, trying to have the hands at approximately shoulder height. And then we're going to be bringing the hands together, the chest, and apart. All the movement should be happening at the elbow joint. And you should be going at about this speed. So this is 2. This is 3. And you want to be going nice and slow. Think 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. If you feel any discomfort in your shoulders or you can bring the hands a little bit lower. But try, as long as you feel comfortable, having the hands at shoulder height. And this is 8. 2 more. This is 9. And last one. This is 10. After you've done 10 reps, we're going to do 15 seconds of arm swings. So nice and easy. 15 seconds, remember to breathe. Deep breaths. And that should be good. After your 15 seconds of arm swings, we're going to go back into our triceps extension. So bring those hands up to about shoulder height. Bring the hands out wide and back together. You can have a little squeeze of your shoulder blades, but don't try to squeeze them too much together. What we're focusing on is just moving at the elbow joint. This is 4, this is 5, and we've got 5 more. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. That's 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That was 7. This is 8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2 more. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And last one. And that's 10. And that completes our swinging triceps extension exercise. Good work, everyone. For our next exercise, we're going to do our wall scapular retractions exercise. So for this exercise, we're going to be placing both hands on the wall. We want to be approximately 1 meter away from the wall, or around arm length. You want your hands to be placed approximately shoulder width apart. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be retracting our shoulder blades, or our scapula. When we're doing this, really want to focus on keeping our body nice and straight. What can help with that is keeping the core contracted, squeeze glutes. And with that being said, why don't we get started? So we're going to be doing 3 sets of 10 reps. So this will be for the first one. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. I'm going to hold that, and then I'm going to relax. And that's 1. Then squeeze, and 2. Squeeze, and 3. And squeeze, and 4. Another thing to keep in mind, and squeeze, and relax, is always trying to keep the shoulder blades back and down. So this is 6, squeeze, shoulder blades back and down, relax. Squeeze, relax. And this is 8, squeeze, and relax. So it's not a huge movement, and squeeze, and relax. And last one, 10, squeeze, and relax. Once you've completed 10 scapular retractions, we're going to do some marching. We're going to do marching for 30 seconds, and then we're going to do some shoulder circles. So for that recovery, just take a deep breath in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Nice and easy. And a few more seconds. And that should be good. Once you've completed your 30 seconds of marching, we're gonna do some shoulder circles. We're gonna do 8 shoulder circles in each direction. So really, when you're bringing those shoulders back, try to squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then bring those shoulders nice and forward. Get a full range of movement at the shoulders. Once you've completed 8 shoulder circles, we're going to switch directions. Now I'm going forward. Still trying to bring that shoulder through a full range of motion. Really squeezing those shoulder blades together as I bring those shoulders back. And then once you've completed your 8 shoulder circles, we're going to go back to the wall. Once again, hands about, shoulders apart. You want your hands to be approximately slightly below shoulder height. And when you're ready, bring those shoulder blades back and down and squeeze them together and relax. Squeeze together and relax. That's 2. Squeeze together, relax. Squeeze, relax, and squeeze, and relax. Squeeze, that's 6, relax. Squeeze, relax, and 3 more, this is 8, relax. 9, relax. This is 10. Relax. Once again, once you complete your 10 reps, we're going to go into 30 seconds of marching. Take some deep breaths. A few more seconds. And once you complete your 30 seconds of marching, we're going to go into 8 shoulder circles. Still taking some deep breaths. Bring those shoulders to full range of motion. More, and then we're going to reverse direction. So in my case, I'm going forward now. And once you've completed your 8 shoulder circles, we're going to do our last set of shoulder retractions. So once again, I'm approximately 1 meter away, or shoulder length away, or arm length away. I'm going to be doing my shoulder retractions. I have my hands shoulder width apart, slightly below shoulder height. And I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together and relax. And as before, I have my shoulders back and down. This exercise, and relax. This is 3, squeeze, relax. And squeeze, relax, and squeeze. That's 5, relax. 5 more. Squeeze, relax, and squeeze. That's 7. 3 more to go. This is 8, and relax, and squeeze. That's 9, and last one, squeeze, and relax. And that completes our wall scapular retractions exercise. Good work, everyone. So our next exercise is our seated core contractions with knee raise exercise. So we want to be seated slightly forward in our chair. You want to have the core tight. You can bring that belly button back to the spine. Want to be seated up nice and tall, shoulders back and down. What we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in, and then we're going to breathe out. As you breathe out, you really contract that core, bring the belly button back to the spine, and then you're going to lift up that knee nice and slow and lower it back down. And then you're going to go do the same on the other side and lower it back down, still keeping that core contracted. That's 1. We're going to do that 5 times for 3 sets. So lifting up the other leg, and again, and that's 2. So we're alternating legs right now. This is 3. All the movement should be happening at the hip. This is 4. Still trying to maintain good posture. Bring the belly button back to the spine. And remember to breathe. And that's 5. Once completed 5 reps, you're going to bring your arms up at the same time. You deep breath in, raising them overhead, and then as you bring your arms down, you're going to breathe out. And do that 3 times. So again, bring the arms up, overhead, together, breathe out. More time, take a deep breath in, and breathe out. And we're going to go back into our exercise 5 times for our second set. So, sitting up nice and tall, core contracted. Right now I'm going to lift my right leg. I'm still keeping the core contracted, but I'm still breathing. My left leg up, back down, nice and controlled. That's 1. Once again, all the movement should be happening at the hip. We're not allowing our back to arch. We're seated up nice and tall. This is 3. We have 2 more on each leg. This is 4. 1 more, both legs. Still alternating legs though. This is 5. Good. Once you complete 5, we take another deep breath. Raise the arms overhead. And breathe out. As you bring the arms down. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Breathe out. And 1 more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. We're going to do 1 more set. Raising up our knees 5 times on each leg. So I'm going to bring up my right leg up to start. Keep the core contracted. Bring the belly button back to spine. That's 1. This is 2. I'm still trying to hit up nice and tall. I'm not letting my back not letting it arch, and I'm not twisting. At the hips, all the movement should be occurring at the hips. This is 4, 5. And last one. And that completes our exercise for this protocol. Good work, everyone. So the next exercise we're going to be performing, it's inspired by the IG exercise. We refer to it as the rolling a pencil exercise. So throughout the exercise, you want to be holding on to the chair. So in this case, I'm going to be holding on with my right hand. You want a slight bend in whichever leg is not moving. So in this case, I'm going to start by moving my left leg, and I'm going to have a slight bend at the knee in my right leg. When you're doing the exercise, you're going to bring the leg forward and back, nice and slow. The things I want you to focus on are keeping the core contracted, bring the belly button back to the spine. You want to be standing nice and tall. As you bring the foot forward, you want to make sure you keep the toes down, keeping the foot parallel with the floor. And then as you bring the foot back, you want to keep the heel down, keeping the foot parallel with the floor. You're not touching the floor, you have the foot slightly above, like you're trying to float it just a slight bit off, like you're rolling a pencil underneath your foot. So, that being said, why don't we get started? So I'm holding on to the chair, I'm standing nice and tall, I'm coming forward, nice and slow. I'm not letting myself lean forward or back when I'm doing the exercise. Keeping it nice and straight, little bend in my right knee as I move my left leg. And we're going to do it 5 times on each leg for our first set. Other thing to keep in mind is I'm not letting my lower back arch. Keeping it nice and straight. That's 3. This is 4. Back. And one more. This is 5. It should be nice, slow, controlled movement. All the way forward and all the way back. After you've completed your 5 reps, you're going to switch to the other leg. So I'm going to go with my right leg. I have a slight bend in my left knee. I'm bringing my foot forward, not letting myself lean, not letting my lower back arch. And you try to keep the glutes tight, so squeezing those muscles you sit on. That'll help you keep you straight as you're doing the exercise. That's 2. This is 3. And try to have the arms slightly out for balance, but still holding onto the chair. This is 4. This is 5. Good. Good. Once you've completed your 5 reps, you're going to do 5 ankle circles on each side. After you do 5 on one side, you reverse direction on the other way. And then once you can do 5 in each direction, you're going to switch to the other ankle. And reverse direction. And then once you complete 5 ankle circles on each side in both directions, you can go back to the exercise. So, once again, I'm holding onto the chair. I have a slight bend. And in this case, I'm going to be having a slight bend at the knee of my right leg. I'm going to be moving my left leg. I'm going to have my arm slightly out to the side while still holding the chair with one hand. I'm going to be standing nice and tall. I'm going to bring the leg forward. And bring it back. Like I'm rolling a pencil, so keeping the heel down on the way back, making sure I keep the toes down on the way forward, keeping my foot, the bottom of my foot, parallel with the floor. It's 3, so I'm still keeping the foot just above the floor, so I'm not touching. It's like I'm just trying to float my foot as I'm doing the exercise. This is the last one. This is 5. And back to center. Once I've completed that second set on my left leg, I'm going to switch to the second set on my right leg. Standing up nice and tall, keeping the core contracted, belly button back to spine, holding on with one hand, both hands out for balance. I have a slight bend in my left knee, and I'm bringing my foot forward, and bringing it back. Still remembering to breathe throughout the exercise. This is 3. This is 4. Still trying to prevent myself from leaning, not arching the back, while squeezing the glutes. Help keep me straight. And my core contracted. And that's 5. Once again, after you've completed 5 times, on each side. If you're rolling a pencil exercise, we're going to do our ankle circles 5 times each direction. And then switching feet, or switching ankles. And reversing direction. And we're going to go into our last set. Holding on the chair, standing nice and tall, core contracted, squeezing glutes, arms out for balance, slight bend in the leg that has the foot on the ground, slight bend at that knee, on my right leg in this case, while moving my left, forward and back. 3. This is 4. Nice, slow, control. Still remember to breathe. This is 5. This is the last time on this leg. And bring the leg back to center. And we're going to do our last set on our right leg. So I have a slight bend in my left knee, holding on the chair, arms out, bounce, bring the foot forward, keeping the toes down on the way forward, the heel down on the way back, while keeping my foot parallel with the floor, but not touching the floor. Just like I'm rolling a pencil. And this is third rep, and this is 4. Still breathing, core engaged, nice and slow. This is our last rep on this exercise, and place both feet on the ground. And that completes our rolling a pencil exercise for this protocol. Good work. Okay, good job finishing the exercise, everyone. Now we're going to go into our cool down. So to start with our cool down, we're going to do some hip circles. Once again, I want my feet to be around a little wider than hip width apart. I'm going to be taking nice big circles with my hips. I'm going to have a little bend in my knees, but not too much. Just a little bend. We're going to do around 10 hip circles. So this is 6, 9, and 10, and we're going to reverse direction. So still trying to get nice big hip circles. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Next up, we're going to be going into our stretches. So we're going to start with our hamstring stretch. So similar to what we did in the warm-up, in this case, we're going to be keeping the leg in front, and we're going to be holding this stretch. So once again, I'm bringing my hips back as I'm doing this exercise, and bending the leg that's behind. So front leg straight, back leg knee bent, bring the hips back, and be holding. And I want to hold this for approximately 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds, I'd say. Good, come up tall. I'm going to switch my legs, so I'm going to have the other leg in front. So in this case, I'm going to have my left leg front, back leg knee bent. I'm going to bring my hips back and actually feel a nice stretch going down the back of my leg as I'm doing this stretching exercise. And again, I'm going to hold this for around 30 seconds. Nice stretch. Now, if you do end up doing some of these stretches a little longer than 30 seconds or a little shorter, that's okay. But we're aiming for around 30 seconds. That should be good. And now we're going to go into our calf stretch. So, the calf stretch, I'm going to have my front leg knee bent, back leg straight. So in this case, I'm going to have my left leg in front, I'm bringing back my right leg, and again, I'm going to be holding this stretch. I'm going to be trying to stand nice and tall, not letting my back bend forward, back, just nice and straight. And once again, I'm holding this for around 30 seconds. The other thing to keep in mind is when you're looking at your, keep in mind your toe placement. So I don't have my toes out to the side, I have them straight forward. And I'm going to switch my feet. So in this case, I have my right leg in front, so my right leg is going to have the knee bent. My left leg is back, my back leg is straight. Nice and straight. Should feel a nice stretch down the back and bottom part of my legs. So we're aiming to get a nice stretch in the calf. And that should be good. Next up, we're going to be taking a seat. So I'm going to take a seat in my chair, and I'm going to cross one leg over the other. I'm going to be grabbing onto the knee, and I'm going to be trying to bring my knee towards my left shoulder. So in this case, it's my right knee, bring it to my left shoulder. Now, as I'm doing this stretch, I'm trying to pull my knee kind of up the side, but really focusing on pulling it a little more to the left. So it should be a nice stretch, kind of the side of your hip. And that should be good. And we're going to drop that knee down. And for these stretches, we're aiming for around 30 seconds, but 20 to 30 seconds is fine. So in this case, I got my right knee, letting it drop down. As you can see, my knee's not perfectly perpendicular with my other leg. That's okay. You just go as far as you feel comfortable. Now, if you do feel comfortable, you can let that knee drop a little lower, but don't try to force it. Just allow it to go as far as gravity will take it. But if you do additionally want a bit more of a stretch, you can also bend forward at the hips. Keep that nice and straight, and that should be good. I'm going to pop that leg down. So in this case, I'm going to bring my left leg up, crossing it over my right leg. I'm going to grabbing on my left knee. I'm going to bring it to my right shoulder. So I'm going to bring it up to the side. I should have a nice stretch on the side of my hip. Once again, I'm really focusing on bringing it to the right as I'm pulling. That'll give me a deeper stretch in that hip. Now, if any of these stretching exercises do feel uncomfortable, that's okay. You can stop and you can move on and get at the next stretch. We don't want to be doing anything that's painful or uncomfortable. But a light stretch in the side of the hip, that's what we're going for. We're going to drop that leg down. Again, you can let gravity just let it lower down as far as it's comfortable. And if you want a bit of a deeper stretch, once again, you can hinge forward at the hips, coming forward, keeping the back nice and straight. And we'll hold this for around 30 seconds once again. And that should be good. All right, next up, I'm going to be grabbing onto the side of my chair. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm sitting up nice and tall. Imagine a string is pulling me up to the ceiling, keeping me in good posture, shoulders back and down, nice and straight. Hand on the side of the chair, and I'm going to lean away from that side, letting my other arm, in this case it's going to be on my left arm, just hang down to the side. And I'm holding that for 30 seconds. One thing to keep in mind is try not to bend forward or bend back. You should be leaning to the side, but your upper torso should be nice in line with your hips. And we're going to switch sides. So in this case, I'm going to be grabbing on my left hand to the chair. I'm going to lean away from my left hand, letting my right hand and right arm just hang low. almost like I'm reaching towards the ground with my right arm. And doing that around 20 to 30 seconds. And that should be good. I'm going to come up nice and tall. I'm going to go into my cross arm stretch. So I'm going to bring this arm across my body. Now, I'm going to grab onto around my elbow, but if you want to grab a little higher up on your tricep here, so right here, or closer to the shoulder, that's okay. Just try to keep the shoulders back and down a little bit. You should feel a nice stretch around that shoulder. And once again, we're aiming for around 30 seconds, but 20, 30 seconds is fine. Throughout our cool down, really make a point to focus on your breathing. So I'm breathing a nice deep breath in, breathing out, nice and relaxed. I'm going to let that arm come down, and I'm going to bring the other arm up. So in that case, I'm bringing my left arm up. I'm grabbing on around a little higher than my elbow, my right hand, and I'm pulling my left arm across my body. Should feel a nice stretch around that shoulder. Still thinking, trying to keep your shoulders a little bit back and down, even though I am pulling it forward slightly. Holding that for around 20 to 30 seconds. Take a nice deep breath in, breathing out, relaxing, bring those arms down, and I'm going to go into my final stretch. So I'm going to take my right hand, bring it to my right knee, grabbing onto my left hip, my left hand, I'm going to turn to that side, looking over the shoulder behind me. Turning to that side, holding for around 20 to 30 seconds. Feel a nice stretch inside. And then I'm going to switch sides, take my left hand, placing it on my right knee, my right hand on my right hip, or if you prefer, you can hold on to the back of your chair. Turn to that side, my right side, looking over my shoulder, holding that for 20 to 30 seconds. And that should be good. And finally, we also want to try to get a nice stretch in between our shoulder blades, so grab on the back of our chair, come forward. Should feel a nice stretch, either in that chest area, or personally I feel a little bit in between my shoulder blades. Hold that for 20 to 30 seconds. And relax, and that should be good. And that completes our cool down session for this exercise protocol.